Hey, what's up you guys, and welcome to Movie Talk. Today's going to be a special video. I'm in the video store, aka the DVD room, and today I'm going to be talking about rare and out-of-print DVDs. I have quite a few of them I wanted to talk about. That is, if I can find them, because they're scattered all throughout this mishmash of a mess. So, let's get started. Okay, so one of the first ones I wanted to talk about was Little Monsters. This is a very good movie with Fred Savage and Howie Mandel. This came out back in the 80s on VHS. I remember I used to own the VHS, but I don't anymore. I don't know where it went. But I remember this DVD had a release way back in the 2000s. I want to say in 2003-ish. And then that DVD in particular was out of print. Okay, you couldn't find it anymore. And then lucky for me, they re-released it with this one for an efficient price. But then there was another big problem. This DVD went out of print. I think this DVD alone was like $40, but I just had to have it because it's such an amazing movie if you've never seen it. But it's definitely one of those out-of-print movies. I don't know if it'll ever get back into circulation. I don't know if they're ever going to make more copies of it, but it's definitely one of the rare ones that I have. Another one, here's a few of them right here. This one is Clown House. Now, this film is directed by Victor Salva, the same guy who did Jeepers Creepers 2 and 3, Powder. This movie was actually pulled from the shelves when it was released. This is actually a bootleg. This is not even the actual official DVD, but it plays pretty much like the DVD. It's a very good horror film from the 80s, but there's so much... There's a really big dark story behind the scenes of this movie. Something to do with the director, and which gave him a lot of jail time. So there's a lot of messed up stuff behind this movie, and I guess that's one of the main reasons why it was pulled from the shelves. But it's a really good horror film. I highly recommend it if you do find it, but like I said, there's a really dark story behind this DVD, or behind the film itself. The other DVD that just recently got out of print again is the Hearse. This is a really creepy horror film. I think you can watch this on YouTube, so I think you guys are good there. But as far as physical media, you guys are kind of screwed. Out of print usually means if you go on any sort of website and you try to find this movie, there's usually like maybe 10 or less copies available. That's with the DVD. They recently, maybe a few years back, started selling these in Blu-ray, but then the Blu-ray got out of print. You know, these things tend to go quick. So I don't know if this will be back in circulation. This is a very good horror film. So yeah. Another one I want to talk about is 2002's Hansel and Gretel. This is another movie with Howie Mandel. I don't know why I always enjoyed this movie as a kid. This is actually a used DVD, but I think it was like $30 or something. But I had to have it in the collection. I actually have the VHS. Let me go over here to my VHS tapes. It's right here. Hansel and Gretel. This is another one of those rare and out of print kind of movies. I don't know if it'll ever come back to a newer release, but I absolutely just love this movie. Another one that actually I do have like a newer copy of, but it just won't play for some reason, is this Linda Blair film called Savage Streets. I've been trying to find another copy of this because this one in particular just will not play. I don't know why, and this one's fresh out of the box too, and just would not play for some reason. So this is another really out of print one. Another thing that's always seems to be out of print is a lot of different Chevy Chase films. I think this one just recently got out of print. It's called Modern Problems. Not many people know about this movie. It's actually a really funny movie. It's like I really highly recommend anything with Chevy Chase. But yeah, for some reason, a lot of his movies just seem to get out of print. I remember. Oh yeah, I remember some. I remember some ages ago, this Chevy Chase film was out of print. Nothing But Trouble. But you can actually buy this one now for the moment. So if you can, there's another, once was out of print, you can buy now. It's like $7 on Amazon, so you definitely should check that one out. But so that's the thing about DVDs. Sometimes they get a re-release, sometimes they just don't, and sometimes they just become nothing. They become these rare commodities. Here's another one that's really, really rare. That I actually have an actual DVD of. I have two versions. This was the version I got first. It's called Treehouse Hostage. This is actually a bootleg. This is the one my grandmother made for me on the VHS that I used to have, but I don't have anymore. Until I finally decided to go online and actually buy the actual DVD, which was, again, about like 40 bucks. It's a movie with Jim Varney, probably one of his final films before he passed away due to cancer. This is a really, really funny movie, but like I said, this movie had never got a re-release, unfortunately, which really sucks because this is such a good movie. Alright, now moving up here, this movie actually used to be in the $5 bins at Walmart all the time, and now you just can't find it nowhere. It's Drop Dead Fred, starring Phoebe Cates and Rick Mayall. I really, really love this movie, but I can't seem to find it nowhere. Again, this is another one of those movies that did get a re-release for, you know, the UK, and it also got a new re-release for the Blu-ray. But again, it just circulated out again, and it just became nothing. So they should re-release this again. This is a really good movie. I feel like this would be a really good movie to put out for maybe its, you know, 20th anniversary. Or excuse me, 30th anniversary. Another movie that's really hard to find is Ernest Rides Again, but I have this re-released collection of Ernest. And I think it's in one of these. Yeah, I think it's in this one. Yeah, Ernest Rides Again. A lot of Jim Varney movies are really hard to find, so there's Ernest Rides Again. You can watch this one for free on YouTube, but still, for physical media, it's a different challenge altogether. This movie was actually out of print for a while too, until it got a re-release. Bad Boys. I'm actually going to have to check on this one. Let me check on this one real quick. Yep, guys, you are still in luck. It's available on Amazon for $8.25. Highly recommend you check that out. But yeah, apparently there are only 6 left of the Blu-ray and 35 for the 4K. But yeah, definitely a great movie. Another rare movie that you really can't find nowhere. I'm lucky enough to even have this version. It's a movie called Song of the South. It's an old 1940s Disney film. This is actually a bootleg, but it was very controversial for, you know, the racist things that were in the film, and it was never released on anything for obvious reasons. And I was lucky enough to have this, but this itself is really rare to have. But I just have it on the shelf just for, you know, for looks. Another really good film that's been out of print for the longest time, which I was lucky enough to find a brand new copy of, is Coneheads with Dan Aykroyd. This was out of print several times. This is actually a re-release version, which again got the same treatment of never getting a new release. I don't know if this ever got a Blu-ray release, even though I never really cared for Blu-ray. But for Blu-ray users specifically, I don't think this has ever got a Blu-ray. That just happens with certain movies, you know. Not every movie gets its own Blu-ray or anything like that, which is kind of sucky. But another movie over here that I can see, Blowout with John Travolta back in the 80s. This again is another used copy that I was able to get. This is another one of those movies that I just can't seem to find anywhere. This is probably a re-release as well. It seems a lot of the DVDs that are out of print are all these MGM DVDs. You know, the same with Little Monsters and other DVDs in particular. The majority of them are these MGM DVDs, which is really bizarre. That just seems like the company that always runs out of copies and never makes more. One last one. It's actually another MGM DVD. It's a really good movie. You see another MGM DVD that's completely out of print. It's Clifford, starring Martin Short. This is another movie that I really would wish would get a re-release, would get the re-release treatment, but unfortunately this movie has not been re-released in a while. It was on VHS, and then it came out on this DVD in the early 2000s, and then it never got the treatment ever again. This is like one of its kind. There's a few available online if you're lucky enough to find one, but like I said, this is a very hard one to find as of right now. I really hope this gets a re-release, but as of right now, we're just stuck with this one. That I think it skips, because like I said, this is another used copy, so 9 times out of 10 when you're buying a used copy online, there's a slim to none chance it's going to skip. But you know, the fact that I have it is still cool, but I'm just saying I would love to rewatch this again, so we really should get a re-release of this. Well, there you go, guys. There's a pretty short video on my rare and out-of-print DVDs. I don't have a whole lot, but if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and please follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. And if you want some ATV merch, I'll be sure to put the link in the description below. And I'll see you guys next time on ATV.